When you win the Grammy as your first award, it's like the biggest laugh, like, ha, yo, we're sleeping on this guy.
And the Grammy goes to Angelique Kidjo, Mother Nature.
So my name is Victor Tariwari Inake Kpoudosu. My name is also Vtek, from where the four names, is the acronym of my four names, and I'm a producer, Grammy Award winning producer, sound engineer, music performer, writer, and an executive as well.
Dignity, I wanna hold on to you. Where you there, yesterday, when the gunman shoot men down, no retreat.
I've always been a musical guy. Like I said, I'm an art guy, so I liked music, I liked drawing, comic head, I like to read, I like to write. So it was like a melting ground or melting pot of which I just dipped my hand and picked the one that got me the most, and that was music. Musical family, my father was a music enthusiast, my mom was also a music enthusiast, happened to be in the choir of Night Post at the time. So we were just around it. I found that was the one that really got me in all the forms of artistic expression. Fast forward to, maybe 2007, which is when I professionally started work. But I just walked through life, and music was my number one way of expressing, and it just so happened to become the business that became my livelihood and has now led me to the point where I have maybe the biggest recognition in the music field, which is the Grammys. Let me expand a bit. So me and Yemi were working a lot. We had done the other album. That's I think the album before the last one, because we traveled. We were all in Netherlands together. We just vibed with their own team over there. There's a publishing company that she was working with. They were providing producers. So we were the Nigerian guys. We had just come from that. There was just a lot of, I don't want to use the word intimacy because most people misinterpret it. When I mean intimacy, I mean just being in the same space. Mind music, laughter music, complaint music. It was like a family setup. So coming from that, she was like, okay, Victor, anything that I'm doing, I'm giving it to you. So if she featured some guy from Colombia, Vtek, here. She featured someone from Spain. Most people don't know that she actually got a Grammy nomination for a feature with a Colombian artist. So she didn't just have one nomination, she had two. But that's by the way. She would always give me stuff. Oh, please check it to make sure it's right though. I think this is what I'm feeling and I know you can help me, blah, blah, blah. And I had the time at that time. I think this was like during lockdown. So the timing was perfect, whereby when she goes, okay, Angelique sent me a beat too. I think we can make it better. So I collected the record, and it took me like a month because I had other things going on. But mentally, I kind of started logging out of production. I wasn't so interested in working with artists anymore, But Angelique was like, okay, hey, this is Angelique. Then I got a mail from her, like, what's up? How's it going? We're really anxiously waiting to see what you do. So I'm like, okay, ginger. I produced, and there were layers to it. We did the first production, then we changed something. When I produced and I rearranged it, Yemi came in and then, let's change the entire song. So she wrote, she also co-wrote that record. She wrote, then Angelique later on goes, oh, I like this part, let's keep this part, let's keep. So it was like we were building the music in stages. And all the way I was in touch with her management and with her also, So I had no idea it would become anything because when I heard the Angelique's album when it came out, I'm like, I like the album, but I also had albums that I maybe liked just slightly more because maybe it was, Angelique is international. These people were doing Nigeria stuff, and at that time it was like more Afrobeats popping, the Burners, the Wizzy, the Omah Lays. So I did not see that album for what it truly was, Grammy worthy. You get what I mean? Now, I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying as a fan of what I do, it was just, okay, work. Man, this song is dope. People love it. People are complimenting it. Thank God at least Angelique loves it. The album is out. Oh, hey, who knows? And then boom, Grammy nomination. So I'm like, sweet, And then it just kind of capped there because I'm like, hey, I'm a nominee. Forever and ever, it will be in their records that this guy was part of this project. And then she won.
This album was made possible when the Grammy, I said the young musicians from Africa are gonna take the world by storm, and I'm gonna take my time to thank them.
It wasn't surprising when she got nominated. I found out what the standards for the global music album category was, and it made sense. At that point, I became more, okay, the fact that they took it, then I went back to listen and I'm like, okay, I'm an artist, I should have noticed how awesome this thing was. It wasn't just about the beats and the melodies, it was also about the message and the production quality, which are two very important things for the global music album. You can get nominated, but you may not win because when they look at it, okay, what are the parameters? This person is talking about subject matter and the quality of the project. Now, other albums may have quality, almost no subject matter. So you see how that could, when I saw the nomination and then I went to check the books, like, okay, what is doable? And then I became more relaxed. I didn't expect a win though. You get me? Because we all are behind Wizkid for all the amazing things he has achieved. In fact, that day, I looked at the category and I'm like, Wizkid is in this category, so I might as well just make peace with being part of a project that got nominated. And that evening, I just got a call, or rather a message from a friend who was attending that, yo, y'all just won. So I'm like it was a pleasant surprise. It wasn't a shock.
We know the sleep today, tomorrow, come in peace, not in pieces, oh yeah.
If you get nominated for Songwriter of the Year, you don't expect the guy that is the best performer to win it simply because he's the best performer. It still comes down to songwriting. So most didn't know what that category entailed. In fact, I felt Wizzy could have easily won Global Music Performance because he did amazing. So yeah, that's how I felt. It's a delicious feeling because 15 years I've been part of some of the biggest projects in the country over time. I am not okay, he was hot in 2014, where is he in 2019? In 2014, I was the real producer, like the producer with the most credit on the last P Square's album. If that album got a Grammy nomination and a win, I would get a statuette. That's how influential my music was. Hardly any nomination. In fact, I got only one nomination, Afrima. And that year, Sauti Sol won, because Sauti Sol was doing equally well. So it's just a sweet feeling in that area because I've always felt like, is it a conspiracy? Because clearly you have an award where they nominate Simi, for instance, for 5 categories: Best Writer, Best Singer, Best Female, Best This, Best That. 5 nominations, none for the producers, because I'm not the only one. There are other people. And those moments, they were etched into my memory because I'm like, okay, what does a person have to do? At some point, I didn't care because now I was fine. As a businessman, I had found my balance. I could take care of my family, take care of myself, live the way I wanted to, and then push. So when you win the Grammy as your first award, it's like the biggest laugh. It's the biggest laugh, like, yo, we're sleeping on this guy. I dedicated, because it's past tense now, to Wifey because I remember one of those awards where I got there was a weird thing. So I had an issue with them, yeah? And she said, Victor, don't worry about it. The one that's going to be bigger than all of this will happen. You know how you say it like it's a prayer, but it became reality. So she's number one person I dedicated to. Then Yemi, because I cannot take for granted the fact that she did call me and say, yo, let's do this. It was like every other day. Only this day it was Angelique, you know, and then, you know, in fact, God is supposed to be first, right? God, my wife, and Yemi. Well, for now, of course, there are projects I'm working on, constantly mixing, mastering, producing. But personally, there is going to be a body of work because most people don't know that I also sing, which is interesting because in 2013, I had all these things going on. I had performed everywhere. I mean, Celebration, Jimmy Jump Up, Industry Night when Industry Night was the ish. And I was moving around with Idris Abdul Karim because we had a song together called like Buju. The one, most people remember it as the song where he dissed Don Jazzy, which he didn't. Well, I'm just saying that's the song. That's how some people remember. So I had the opportunity to perform with some major celebs, you know. I was pushing that side by side, but I chose production and I left that side. That side comes back this year because I am absolutely ready as a man, as a musician, and as an independent.
You can call me the finisher, chopping this in extra little pieces with a scimitar. Busy playing your dirty tricks, if you ever step in the cricks. Holy moly, I chop you with a crucifix. Fakers, they reason how them go X. The next bitch, I'm only getting started, so why you reaching they vex? The haters wanna take away what is mine. See, I've been designed to make a billy out of the shine. So if you